Hey everybody, if you are using coconut coir and you're getting very disappointing results, it's probably not your fault. Or if you're new to this and you're thinking about or planning on using coconut coir for your seed starting mix, here's a heads up for you too. What you need to know is that coconut coir is inherently full of salt. And if you think about where it grows, coconut trees along the coast of countries all over the world, it's taking in a lot of salt in the process. And if something isn't done ahead of time to remove that salt before we use it in our seed starting mix, we're going to get dismal results because salt is terrible for the seeds to germinate and blocking the roots from taking up water and nutrients and producing productive seedlings. So we need to get the salt out. But unfortunately, most companies that sell coir don't go through the time and trouble and expense to remove it before they bag it up and sell it to us, and they don't tell us about what to do with that either. So when we use it, we get terrible results. Oftentimes, that's the reason, and it's usually the #1 reason that our seedlings fail when we use coconut coir. But the good news is there are a couple things that we can do, and one is a test right up front, right out of the bag or the brick, to measure the salt content so that we can determine whether or not it's likely safe to use it straight from the bag. If we find out that salt content is too high, there's something else we can do called buffering that removes the salt from the coir, and then we can proceed as normal and get the results we want. And I'm going to show you how to do both of those tests today. Now this first test is quick and easy, and I recommend that you do this every time you're getting ready to use a new batch of coir, whether that's in the bag or by the brick. But the goal of this one is simply to measure how much salt is in that coir before we use it to know whether or not we need to go to step 2 to kind of get rid of some of that, or it's safe to use right out of the package. Step 1, hydrate your coir brick or bag contents. And if you're using more than one brick or one bag, you can combine them all at once and then add the water, but that's up to you. Okay, so I got the brick in there, and now I am going to hydrate that brick with distilled water. And the reason why we want to use distilled water is that if we use tap water, it's got some of its own ions floating around in there that can throw off the reading of water that's free of any of those other distractions. So we want a really solid reading, and the only way we're going to get that is with water that's been distilled. The next step is to let this just soak in. This will take a couple minutes to absorb the water. I'll start breaking it apart. And the ultimate goal here is to get it into just all loose fibers. Now make a simple slurry. 1 cup hydrated coir and 1 cup distilled water. Stir it thoroughly and let it sit for 5 minutes. This will extract the soluble salts into the water phase. Then you insert the probe into the liquid portion, not into the fibers. An EC meter measures electrical conductivity, reflecting total dissolved salts in the solution, and that's what we're measuring. If your reading is under 0.3 millisiemens per centimeter, that's the scale we're working with for measuring EC, you're in a safe germination range, but between 0.4 and 1.0, well, at a minimum, you need to do a serious rinsing. Now, EC is only measuring the soluble salts. Those are the ones that are freely floating around in the solution. But it doesn't measure the ions that are chemically bound to the fibers of the coir in this case, but we're just going after the salinity measure right now. Now, if the EC is moderate or high, so we're talking about 0.6 to 1.0, and high would be 1.0 or above, and as a conservative player in this game, I go to the buffering process once we get to 0.6. To begin the buffering process, the first step you need to do is empty the water out of the original bucket when you did the first part of the test. Then you refill that bucket just enough to cover up the coir product with distilled water. And for every gallon of water that you add to the bucket, you're now adding 1 tablespoon of calcium nitrate to the mix. Now, in planning ahead for this video, I replicated this identical process that we've just watched happen all the way through, applying the calcium nitrate to an identical bucket with the same coir ingredients and so forth. And here it is. So I have done a final drain of that liquid, just as you saw it where we last left off, with the calcium nitrate in it. And then I rinsed that with distilled water. And this is what's left. So this is dried out coir just like we want to use. And now I have to do another slurry test because we're looking for that EC reading to be 0.6 or lower. Now keep in mind, when we started right from the beginning, the EC reading was very low. But I'm showing you this test in the event that you have a high EC reading to begin with and you want to do the buffer test. This is the process that you do. Okay, so after the buffering, we're at 0.4546, and that's higher than we started with. And so if you're asking why is that, it makes sense because with the buffering, what that's doing when we apply the calcium nitrate, that's displacing the ions, the salt ions that were bound to the fibers of the coconut. And then that released into the water and the slurry. So this is picking that up. But because it's in the water solution, as that is rinsed and purged, what's left are the fibers without the salt attached. And that's what we're after. So this is a good sign. And I hope you found this interesting and informative. And if you have any questions or comments, I look forward to hearing what you have to say. And thanks for watching.